Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. You should check out my website, welshaudio.com. Everything ships for free. The prices that you see is the prices that you'll pay at checkout. Enjoy the video. All right, guys, today's the day. We are going to start my son's new box with the 415s. There's the Tahoe out there, by the way. But yeah, we're going to take the old green truck. Y'all have heard me talk about my green truck before, how I want to put a system in it one day. Had this truck over 20 years. It's what we're going to take to go get the plywood. But while we're at it, check out all the audio stuff we've got up there. And there's a lot that you can't see because it's stacked back in the back also. This is like our personal stuff. A lot of this is my son's. But anyhow, let's get the cover off the old girl and head on up to our storage unit. There's our dogs. There she is. I've had that truck a little over 20 years. All right, guys, we'll check back in with you here in a few minutes. All right, guys, putting a little air in the tires. This thing sits. I think it's made one trip to the gas station this year, and that's it. All right, guys, we're headed to our storage unit. We've had this wood for a year. I'll show you when we get there, but this is a 97 GMC that I've had for a little over 20 years. I'll show you the truck a little bit better when we get there. Got Skylar driving, but I do have a Kenwood Exelon. What is this? KDC X. Skylar, what is that? $5.99?
I believe so.
Anyhow, but everything else in here is stock. The door speakers are stock, and it's got two behind the seat, you know, over on the sides of the truck. But I do want to put a small system in this one day, maybe a couple of 10s or maybe a couple 12s. I don't really know. 10s or 12s. But, all right. Yeah, when we get to the storage unit, I'll show you guys a little bit more. All right, guys. Here she is. I know some of y'all probably want to see the truck a little bit better because a lot of y'all are car people. I mean, most of y'all are car people just like us. But clean old truck. She is in great shape. I bought this truck with 53,000 miles on it. It does have a 3/4 drop. It's been dropped 3 inches in the front, 4 inches in the back. So it's lowered down just a little bit. To me, it just gives it, it's not slammed, but it's just enough to look good. It does have a V6 automatic. It's gonna get an LS motor one day. I wanna buy a brand new LS crate motor to put in there one day. But yeah, that's it. Just thought y'all might want to see that. It's got new tires on it. All right, let's get to our plywood. All right, Skylar, roll it up. All right, we got your typical jump like most people have. So Skylar, we went to Home Depot last October.
I think so.
Somewhere around last October, because we were going to do this build last winter and we just didn't do it. We bought the nicest plywood they've got. We have been using the Baltic birch on all of our boxes for the last few years, but when everything kicked off with Russia and Ukraine, we quit getting Baltic birch into the US from Russia. We love that wood, but this looks like it's, I mean, the next best thing, honestly. We spent a lot of time at Home Depot that day looking for high quality plywood that does not have voids. Even these dark areas that you see, that is not a void, that's wood in there. So we was impressed. That's what's so great about Baltic birch, is it doesn't have all the voids in the middle. So this is some really good stuff, and it was pretty expensive. I think Skylar spent close to $600.
Yeah,
that
Right
day.
under 600.
This is 6 sheets of that, and we're going to grab 3 of them today. We don't need all 6, and we're not going to really use all 3, but we will have to cut portions of 3. So this box is going to have 3 layers on the baffle and 2 layers everywhere else. So what we're going to cut out today is all 3 of the baffle pieces and the 2 bottom pieces, because all 5 of those pieces are going to be the exact same size. So that's our goal today, is to grab 3 of these, take them back home, and cut out those 5 pieces of wood. All right, let's get to it. All right, guys, let's go make some sawdust. We don't have too far to go. All right, time to get them unloaded and get the saw out. All right, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the dimensions of this new box. Skylar has been working hard, plugging away at all the dimensions and the airspace and the tuning frequency, port size, every bit of it. One of the things I want to mention right off the bat, this is the real Baltic birch that comes from Russia that everybody likes, and we love that wood. Here's one crappy thing about that wood. It comes in a 5 foot by 5 foot sheet, a square 5 by 5, and you have a lot of waste because of that. So not only is the wood a little bit expensive, but by the time you figure in all the waste, it looks like my dog's in there, don't it? But but by the time you figure in that 5 by 5 square, you're going to waste a lot of wood too, on top of it already being expensive. But in these full-size Tahoes and Yukons, it is perfect 48 inches to go all the way from one side all the way to the other side. So a normal sheet of plywood, like I just showed you, a 4 by 8 sheet, it's already 4 foot wide, perfect across the top. Now we're just cutting off of that, and so that part is going to be better. This is double baffled on the top with single everywhere else, including the baffle. The new box is going to be double everything, including the baffle, and triple on the top, because this box actually does flex a little bit. We originally built this box for Sundown SAs, and we wound up putting Sundown X's in it. But because of putting 415s in here, this box has got to be a lot bigger. In fact, Skylar's going to talk to us a little bit about the dimensions, but it's going to come way further back. There's not going to be room back here for amps and batteries. They're going to wind up being around on the front side. But Skylar, tell us a little bit about our dimensions here.
All right, so this box is 8 cubic feet, pretty much exactly. It's 8.01 or something. The new box is going to have to be about 17 cubic feet, so obviously major difference. Those subs, I think, call for 4.25 cubic feet a piece, which ends up being 17. This box is 8, which is a little small. It needs to be about 8.5, but still close enough that it don't really matter a whole lot. The big deal about this box being a limiting factor is the port size. This port's only 2 1/4 big, and I think it needs to be about 3 inches. So the new box will be a lot bigger. It's going to come out to about here. I can't remember how deep this box is, but the new one will be 36 inches, so it'll pretty much come all the way to right here, and it'll be a lot taller. It'll come up to around here. It'll be 36 inches by 32 inches by 48.
Wow, so it's going to be way up, way up there.
It'll be a lot bigger inside and outside, and of course there'll be 4 subs instead of 2. 17 cubic feet. This one is 8, so it'll be a little over double on the internal volume.
Yeah. So the 5 pieces of wood that we're cutting out today is going to be the 3 for the baffle and the 2 for the bottom, and all 5 of those are going to be 48 inches by 30. How much?
36.
48 by 36. That's going to be the first phase of this box, is cutting out these first 5 pieces.
This box is also elevated a little, so we can kind of avoid these plastic pieces.
Right, we built it that way on purpose.
So with the new box, we'll be taking these plastic pieces out and kind of gutting, getting rid of all the wires that go underneath. That was an added benefit to raising the box up.
Yeah.
But we'll be taking all that out. We'll be remounting the amps and batteries and all that kind of stuff. So we won't need any of this. The new box will sit completely flush on the carpet.
So yeah, like he said, it is nice that we can run wires under there, but the truth is we're losing a little bit of dBs by having that space under there, from what most people say.
I also forgot to mention, like I said, this box needs to be, I think, around a 3-inch port on the opening size. The new box will be a 6-inch port, so it'll be, you know, pretty good size port from the, pretty much from the bottom up, you know.
So it's going to be a massive box. It's going to pretty much take up the whole back of this. But it was real important for us to keep the second row of seats. Skylar and myself never did really want to do it. We know that if we want to get rid of those, there's plenty of room back here, but we wanted people to be able to still sit in the back. So we wanted to work within this space back here. And
wanted it to pretty much be a complete C-pillar build.
Yep, C-pillar, no wall. Our goal is to have something that does 155s plus some nice hair tricks, and be able to do all that with a no wall. Like we specifically we don't want to do a walled build, not in this vehicle. I'm not saying that won't ever come for us, but that's not ever our intentions for this vehicle right here. So, all right, cool. Let's get started on these 48 by 36 inch pieces of plywood. All right, let's check back in here in a few minutes. All right, guys, forgive me for my neighbor next door. He's cutting up his leaves, but we decided to work under a roof today. Didn't really want to cut in the garage and get that sawdust all over the place. We were gonna just do it out in the driveway, but we decided to move my vehicle out and work under here. So fixing to bring the first one out and start marking and measuring, or maybe we measure then mark, but we'll get to that part. All right, ready? Here we go. All right, guys, we got those 5. This was the first one that we cut, and then we used it to trace all of the other 4 one at a time, so that they would be as close to this one as possible. Then we got to noticing This has written on it what it is. Title 6, 3/4 inch, C3 birch. What do we have here? Old Fort, North Carolina, 6/12 of 23. Here's Cody, by the way. This cat is almost 15 years old. All right, so guys, if y'all haven't ever used one of these, if you're wondering what this is that we've been using, I know that sawing has been super loud, by the way. I'm sorry for that, but this thing is like crazy straight. It's made for the edge right here to ride on right here, and you clamp it in place and it makes perfect cuts, kind of like using a track saw. And because it does that, you can put the edge of this right on the line on both sides, and it'll cut just straight down that line. But we've decided, we've done a lot of calculating. Skylar has. This ain't all from today either, by the way. He's been working on this for a while. But we've decided to go ahead and cut out some of the other sides of the box today as well. But I don't want to bore y'all with any more saw cutting videos. I will show you here in the end what we ended up cutting out today, but we're going to start working on some of the rest of this. But I just want y'all to see all of the drawing and calculating that he has done to figure out all of this stuff: port dimensions, tuning frequency, internal volume, displacement. I mean, you name it.
There's all the sub recommendations and stuff. Here's some of the old box dimensions and stuff that I was trying. Here's where I ended up finding out my port needed to be 272 square inches and a 6-inch port by the 45, which will be on the inside of the sides. The whole box will be 48 inches wide, 45 by the time you're inside the wood. So 6 inches tall on the port by 45 wide comes out to 270, which is pretty much right at our goal, 272. So that was that. And obviously you can see there, port area 68 square inches by 4 subs is 272 square inches. And then we got our outside dimensions back on this page. And there's all of our dimensions for each individual piece of wood right here.
Yeah. So he's done his homework, and this all took place on the first box that we built as well. This box is going to be just focused on being extremely strong. Probably not going to have plexiglass and lights, unfortunately, on the new box, but it is going to have internal bracing with metal bracing that we're probably going to weld up ourselves. That's going to be a lot of fun. So this box is just going to be more robust and strong rather than pretty. Now, don't get me wrong, it's going to be pretty on the outside. We're going to make it look really nice, but you're not going to be able to see inside of it with the lights and stuff like his current box. And it is a bummer. We're both a little bit bummed about that, but we need this box to be really, really strong. All right, I'll come back in a few and let you know what all we wound up getting cut out today. All right, sit tight. All right, guys, we feel pretty good about what we got. We wound up getting both of the front pieces, both of the back pieces, top, bottom, because all these are the same. 2 on the bottom, 3. So anyhow, our goal today ultimately was just to cut out those 5 on the bottom, but we wound up getting both of the fronts, both of the backs, and Cody's still over here hanging out. But let me show you the waist. I was talking about the 5x5 sheets of Baltic birch. This started out this morning as 3 full sheets of plywood, 4x8 sheets. This is all the waste that we have. So we came out really good, got lucky on some of that, but I'll just tell you, dealing with those 5x5 Baltic birches, we would have had an enormous amount of waste. So anyhow, guys, that's going to be it for this one. We are so pumped about this series. I'll be dropping videos as this build goes along, but for today, that's it. Thank you so much for watching.